Hello, Flosstube. I'm Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. I thought I would. I'm trying to not kick the stand, but I have a slightly different. I have my tablet that I record these on plugged in, because I had to buy a new charging cord, I think, for my tablet. Because the one I have is like it's where the plug part goes, attaches to the cord. It's got it's kind of wearing out there, and so I guess I was gone this morning, and I had left the tablet charging like overnight, I guess, and it kind of didn't charge. It stopped charging at some point, so yeah, I need a cord. The reason I was gone this morning was that my sister and my parents and I, that's a weird little hair sticking out there, we went to a gourd farm outside of Casa Grande, Arizona, which is, excuse me, stop, okay, which is down, I guess, south of Phoenix. Outside of Casa Grande, there's a place called the Wirtz Gourd Farm, and they grow gourds out there, and so they sell them. You can buy them either like sort of uncleaned, scrub, where you have to scrub them yourself or whatever. But they also sell them cleaned up and finished. And usually the clean ones are more expensive than the grungy ones. It's a cat messing with the gourds. But they actually have a gourd festival, which is next weekend. And so in preparation to that, they were selling some of the finished ones for the same price as the unfinished ones. So we went on a good weekend. We got a pretty good deal. And they're not that expensive. They run like, the tiny ones are 3 for $1, and the bigger ones are like up to, I guess, $8 if you buy really huge ones, whatever. But anyway, they have like a little board with little holes in it, and they size them and charge you accordingly. Anyway, so I want because my cats are very interested in the gourds that I have that I bought, and I put a few out to show you, and so they're messing with them. So I want to sort of maybe get that out of the way first, otherwise they'll be messing with me. So my sister chose some, and I chose some, and we chose some for my younger sister, who was supposed to go with us, but she's been sick. And so she didn't go with us after all. She didn't feel like up to it. But so my sister bought some little tiny ones. I'm sorry I don't have a hamrock for size comparison, but this is one of the little bitty ones. So these little guys were like 3 for $1. And then I bought one that is not finished, has not been cleaned. So this little pear-shaped one I thought was really cute. And then sorry, I can't pick this one up. This is one that has been cleaned that we chose. Another one. So you can finish these in a variety of ways. You can paint them. You can use them for plants. You can use them for bird feeders. You can whatever your imagination says. There's another one. Yeah. There's some that have these crook necks. There's some that were like smaller bottoms and longer necks, or like really curly hued next or whatever, but this is one. There we go. So anyway, most of the ones we got were, were cleaned up. I think this little pear-shaped one is the only one we got that was not cleaned. And main reason I chose, this is one of the ones I chose. The main reason was that I just liked this shape so much. I didn't care that it was, hadn't been cleaned or whatever. And, it takes a lot, apparently a lot of, elbow grease to, like, sand through all this, gunk that's on them. But I don't care. I like that shape. So hopefully Puck will leave these gourds alone during the rest of this video. Okay, so this is a channel about cross stitch. I'm Elizabeth Martinez. I don't know if I said that before. phantastitches. And this is a channel about cross stitch. So apart from gourds, I'm going to talk about cross stitch. So I have a little finish, but mostly whips. Oh, actually, I have two finishes, but I can't show you one. I had talked about stitching on 10 minutes to midnight, and I finished that. I finished it, I want to say Wednesday. Yeah, I think Wednesday. Yeah. And, but, like, I can't show it to you. Like I said before, my sisters and I hope to open an Etsy shop, and it'll be one of the cross-stitch patterns that we hope to put on the Etsy shop. My older sister is working on some smaller things for that. So we're going to see how that goes, and what we can get ready to offer on the Etsy shop, as well as some things from with these gourds. Making some things with them. It just depends on how labor intensive that is to do. But they may eventually be available on there as well. I just don't know what form, they'll take or whatever. But anyway, so 10 minutes to midnight is finished, and hopefully I'll be able to show it to you soon. It'll probably be a few more weeks by the time, it gets, because I guess we want it to be fully finished and available before it's shown. So we want to make sure that the pattern everything is correct. There's a few little errors that I found while I was stitching, that just little things that need to be fixed. There's a cat about to mess with the gourds. But anyway, so I did that. I've been working on that diligently since last Saturday, and it's finished. So I don't have to work on it anymore. Not that I have to, but you know what I mean. I'm done with working on it, so I can work on some other stuff. So I had talked about this berry basket pincushion. I finished one of them some time ago, and I'm getting out of order of the things I was going to do. And so like I said last week, I finished this larger version of it. I still have to FFO it. But then I started on, make sure I got this right side up here, yeah. This, smaller version of it. I'm doing 1/1 on 22 count Hardanger. And so I had started, I think I had just had these two lighter berries. So I finished the third one, and I did these two little darker ones. And that are in the middle of this. Yeah, these three are one color, and these two are another color, and then these two outer berries are the same color as these two here. So this is a smaller version of it. So I worked just a little bit on this, did those three little berries. And then the other thing I worked on was the Prairie Schooler Oh, well, that berry basket thing, this is an Italian designer. I got this, I think this was in a magazine, and I don't remember. I don't know. But this was in a magazine. This designer is Nicoletta Farrauto. She's an Italian designer, and it's sampler inspired. The design. I don't think. Yeah, the motifs are common to many 19th century samplers, but it's not a reproduction of any particular individual sampler. Anyway, so I worked on my Prairie Schooler Angel, Blackwork Angel, and the one I'm doing again is this one here with the doves. So I made quite a bit of progress on it since last time. I finished the dress, and I realized after I was looking at the video from last week, and I had done so much, and I just had 2 rows left, but I had messed up this down here at the bottom, which I have since corrected. I think I took a picture of it this past Friday for the Friday Off the Grid group. We stitch every Friday or whatever. And I realized that I had where it's supposed to be where these blank squares are. It's all going to be gold. It's the trim on the bottom of her dress. And I had forgotten. I had stitched over this one and this one. They were black stitches. And I realized realized it, and I cut those stitches, and I made it's kind of a mess back here, but I sort of I pulled the cut threads underneath where I had stitched so that they're secured, and then I'll stitch gold in these squares, and hopefully at some it'll keep that from coming undone or whatever until we can finish it, But and then this will be gold. Her little belt there will be gold, and then she has a gold halo. And there will be a dove right down here that has a little branch with some gold things on it. So there's not that much of the gold color. I'm using a DMC. Gold color. I don't know what it is, but it's the one I've used over here on the other ones. So, but today I did this part on the drive to the gourd farm. I worked on this part of the wing because I thought I could do that in the car. It's not that difficult to do that. I would mess it up, but I did mess it up at some point, just slightly. It was hard to do in the car because the car is bouncing around like that. And somewhere on this long line here, I somehow did something wrong because right in here, instead of being how you do every other stitch or whatever to stitch, on even weave, which is what this is. I came up with one short or something, so I had to fudge it, but it was fudgeable and it didn't affect the overall line. But so then I did this line also. So yeah, this part I did today in the car, and last night I did her hands and this bird. It came out very nicely, and I think I did this corner, this corner too. The stars in this corner. So this is all done. So now all that's left to do, apart from the gold, in her halo and in her dress, all that's left to do is this pain in the neck bird that I pulled all out, and there's there's a little bit more stitching here and down here along this to make the square. But so this angel is almost done. This just the hard part is left now of doing that other dove, and that's the one that I worked on it a couple weeks ago, and I had to pull it all out because it was messed up. It was wrong, and it was off. And I had done all the way down to here, and it was off by like half a stitch. Somehow it was wrong, and I had already tried to fudge because I knew I had made a mistake, and I tried to fudge it, and it came out wrong. So I just pulled it all out. So my next attempt will be to do this again and do it correctly, and we'll see how that works out. But so that's, yeah, a Blackwork angel almost done. It's using DMC 310 and some, I forget what the gold color is. Right here on her harp strings, I still haven't done to tried to see how that would work. But I might do 2 strands. Each string is 2 strands rather than 1 strand. Just so it would show up a little better. But we'll see. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to pull that all out or redo it or not. And the other thing I did then was I worked on, if you remember, a few weeks back, several weeks back, I guess, last year sometime, was the It's You I Like, hashtag It's Not a Movement, It's a Sal. No, it's not a Sal, it's a movement. It's not a Sal, it's a movement. Stitching this It's You I Like for whoever you like. And I had mentioned that my friend Carol, who was one of he is one of the co-concert masters in the Arkansas Symphony. He was he's a good friend of mine, whom I met when he first moved to Little Rock. He didn't have a car, and he lived right behind me. I lived the little Victorian turn-of-century house that I lived in faced 7th Street, and the one he lived in faced 8th Street. And these were old, the house I lived in was the Turner-Karcher house, and then there were 3 Johnson houses. The house next door to mine was the house where Mr. Johnson lived, and the 2 houses facing 8th Street were Johnson houses that I think a couple of his kids lived in with their spouses or whatever, that Mr. Johnson apparently built or whatever. So those 3 houses and mine were all big Victorians, and then the one next door to the Johnson house on the other side was a big brick turn-of-the-century building, I guess. And then in between the Johnson house next to mine and the brick one and the Johnson houses that faced 8th Street, there were some modern, like, 4-plex houses. And so all those buildings together, they called them Cromwell Court, I think. Anyway, Kira lived facing 8th Street in one of the little houses, and I lived in the Turner-Karcher house. And so he would just walk, over, like, between the houses over to my house, and we would ride together to rehearsal. And then he would typically, like, he would want to walk home. It was just really only, like, less than a mile, from where we rehearsed to his apartment. So, so going home, he would often walk home. But anyway, so we rode together a lot and did a lot of stuff together. And anyway, he's coming out here in a few weeks, around the 14th or so, to participate in, I think, Arizona Music Fest or something like that, during the 14th to the 18th, around that time. And so, he and I are going to try to get together for lunch or coffee or whatever. And so I thought, well, since, I want to give one of these, It's You I Like. So I just chose a couple of colors. This is Week Star Works colors. This is Ocean, this bluish color. And this greenish color is Paris Green. And this is just a piece of 28 count even weave. That I think this is like tea-dyed or something like that. So, It's You I Like. And I think I'm going to do a little pillow finish with cording and a little hanger made out of that same cording to just, you can hang it on the wall, hang it on a music stand, hang it on whatever you want to do. But yeah, so I thought I would make that. So I started and finished this in one afternoon, like Wednesday or something like that. Yeah. So it's you I like. I thought it was appropriate. And let me check my list here. Make sure I covered everything. Yeah. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention was that the Arizona quail pattern. I had it last week, and the week before was my 100th episode update, and so I had offered the Arizona quail pattern that my sister designed. We offered it for the 100th episode, and again last week for the 101st. It was in the description box below this video. But I had a couple of emails that, because I had not set the privacy settings properly, it was sending me an email saying, this person wants to download this. And I was like, what does that mean? so I went and looked at it, and it was part of the privacy things that I guess if you don't set it so that anybody can download it, it says, you have to approve everybody who wants to download it. But I reset the privacy settings so it's set that anybody who has internet access can download it. So if you've been thinking about downloading it, and you might want it, you can go ahead and download it. Hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Let me move this one more time because I moved it. Okay. So the Arizona quail pattern that I was talking about was this one here. That's a freebie on that's going to be listed below here again once I finish this. So there is my sister was pointing out in the comments that there is some backstitching here in the flowers, and there is a French knot, the quail's eye right here. But you can put a bead, you can put a colonial knot, you can whatever you want to do, and then it's all in DMC, and you can do it on whatever fabric you want, whatever, But anyway, the link to this freebie pattern, I'm going to go ahead and try to put it below again for anybody who wants it. So the privacy settings have been corrected, so you should be able to download it if you want to without any problems. And so, yeah, I think that's all the stuff I wanted to show you. I did want to talk about Gloria, one of my subscribers, a friend of mine, internet friend, was telling me about embroidery.com has a sort of a stitching challenge that runs that starts today and runs through this month. My cat Snug is very excited about the gourds. But they're having a sort of a Stitch 30 challenge, 30 minutes every day through the whole month of February, and you take a before and after picture and post it on in their Facebook group that they have, and then and you post the hashtag I love to stitch is one of the things you can do. But anyway, you're stitching up to 30 minutes a day. Somehow you can divide it, you can stitch it all at once, you can, I guess, stitch more than that if you want, but at least 30 minutes a day. And you can have, because of course people have lives and people have things going on, so they're allowing you to, if you have to skip a day or whatever, there's up to I think 4 skipped days allowed during the month to still be part of this little challenge, still be in the running for the prize that they're gonna have. And I think it's just a drawing for one prize for whoever the people who participate in this challenge. But they're like giving away a needle minder from their website. So anyway, so Gloria had told me about it, and I joined that Facebook group, and I think I'm going to try to do that. And that'll give me some incentive to stitch on things this month, and hopefully that'll carry on to beyond this month. Anyway, so yeah, I thought, well, 30 minutes a day is nothing, because I usually stitch more than that, but that'll give me, there's a cat. That'll give me some incentive to work on things. Those biscornues I still have sort of waiting in the wings, and I want to finish the Blackwork Angels, and that'll help me finish those as well. And then I really have to FFO this little it's You I Like thing, because my friend Carol's going to be here in a couple weeks, and so I want to get that done and finished, before he comes here, of course, because I don't know when I'm going to see him in that, in that time period. So I don't know what day we're going to get together. But I want to have it finished before he comes, so that I can give it to him whenever. So yeah, I'm going to have to take some time to FFO that, and while I'm at it, I'll probably FFO some other stuff that I have sitting in my to be FFO'd drawer. Like, for instance, I don't think I've talked about it in a while, but I made some little tiny they're for pin pillows or something. It's oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it now. The name of the designer. But there's like they're called stoneware kitties or something like that. And anyway, it came as a sort of a little kit that I bought at the attic. It was a little card with a pattern on it, and then some fabric and trim and thread, some variegated overdyed floss, but it's kind of in a dark blue. It's called Blackberry, I think is the name of the thread. But it came with some blue little polka dot, little dot trims. So it came with enough for both of them, and for each one, trim and everything, and you just had to like pick a backing fabric of your choice. But so I stitched them, and they're sitting in my drawer because I never FFO'd them. So maybe I'll FFO those while I'm finishing this It's You I Like little thing. And get those taken care of while I'm at it. But for the It's You I Like, I want to make a little pillow out of it and make some cording. I don't want to use the Weeks Dye Works thread to make the cording, so I'll have to look through my DMC stash and find something that's fitting to make cording out of. I think for those, maybe something greenish, something turquoise-ish, something, I don't know what, that matches the threads that I used nicely to make cording out of. So I think that's it. That's all I've got this week. So I'll probably think of 1,000 things I'm going to talk about after I finish this. I was going to say after I hang up. That's what I get for growing up in the age of the old-fashioned telephones. I don't know why I thought of that. Anyway, so I think that's it. I hope to finish at least this one Blackwork angel within a few days, a couple of days, and probably that one berry basket thing. Now that 10 minutes to midnight finished, it wasn't all that difficult, but I just had like all the back stitching. There's some back stitching left, that was left to do, and a whole bunch of little colonial knots. And so I was like, just like, oh, I don't want to do that. So it's, it's all the fiddly stuff, that was done, that needed to be done. But I just buckled down and did it all. So, and sometimes you just have to do that. You just have to, buckle down and do the parts that you don't want to do. And that's all the fiddly stuff. And so that, that's what I have left to do on a lot of the projects that I have that are languishing, is that, I have to concentrate and do all the difficult parts, So anyway, that's my life. Welcome to my life. Okay, so hopefully I'll have a link to the, not hopefully, I will. I'll have a link to the Arizona quail if anybody still wants to download it. Like I said, it's a freebie, and so, whatever. And I'm gonna get to work on what I have left. So until I see you next time, bye. Bye. Oh, well, I think I said I'm Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches. And you can find me in the Friday After Grid group, Stitching with Housewives group, and now the embroidery.com group, Facebook group. And my email address will be in the box below. Okay, so now I'm really going. Bye.